What's up, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed your Independence Day and celebrating the birth of our country's independence yesterday. We have got to take some time to talk about a real attempt to spin a narrative that's well established in real time. Jen Psaki last week went back and forth with White House reporter Peter Doocy, and she asserted her claim that Republicans are the ones who are actually the proponents of defunding the police. Now, her evidence is going to be very sketchy, and we're going to be able to see through this, guys, but it's fascinating to me that in real time, top White House officials will push propaganda, will lie on the Republican Party, and will basically put up a fraud to the American people as to what's really going on. And I think the person who pays a little attention knows the fact of the matter is this: the Democratic Party are the ones, members of the Democratic Party are the people responsible for advocating for dismantling, abolishing, and defunding the police. We have receipts. It's not hard to find. It's well documented. And the spinning that I find just fascinating, and it's such a bad political move, is Jen Psaki uses the fact that some Republicans voted against the American Rescue Plan. And obviously, if you guys have been paying attention, you guys know that the Democratic Party and Joe Biden, they're just blowing the budget out. Trillions upon trillions of dollars are being spent. So Republicans voted against this plan, the American Rescue Plan, because it had a bunch of things in it that were excessive spending. And because Republicans voted against this plan, Jen Psaki is saying, well, you see, proof is in the pudding right there. They voted against this. They voted against this bill, which would have given police departments more money. So therefore, if they voted against this bill, it's actually them who is defunding the police. And we see right through that. It's a great attempt that falls flat on its face every single time to try to spin the narrative in real time. And I'm just thrilled to be alive. I'm just thrilled that I'm alive, that we are alive, that we get to see this in person. But before we jump into this, if you already haven't, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified anytime I make a video. And let's watch Jen Psaki continue to assert her ridiculous claim that Republicans are the ones who voted to defund the police. Take a listen.
On another subject, you mentioned at the last briefing that you think Republicans wanted to defund the police because they did not support the American Rescue Plan. Which Republican ever said that they did not like the American Rescue Plan because they wanted to defund the police?
Well, first, let me just note that the president ran and won the most votes of any candidate in history on a platform of boosting funding for law enforcement after Republicans spent decades trying to cut the cops program. There's record of that. That doesn't require anyone having new comments, and then also stood in the way of crucial funding needed to prevent the laying off of police officers as crimes increase. That's a simple statement of fact.
I understand what you're saying there. However, there are lots of examples of Democrats explicitly saying they want to defund the police. We've got Congresswoman Cori Bush, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar. Are there any examples of Republican members of Congress saying they want to defund the police?
I think most people would argue that actions are more important than words, wouldn't you say?
Well, to that point, to your point there, at the time of the vote on the American Rescue Plan, you had the Republican leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, and he said he just didn't like it because he thought it was a classic example of big government Democratic overreach in the name of COVID relief. And then Kevin McCarthy said he thought Democrats were using coronavirus as an excuse to justify funding pet projects.
Well,
we're going to vote against this because they want to defund the police.
Again, I think actions speak louder than words, Peter. So if you oppose funding for the cops program, something that was dramatically cut by the prior administration and many Republicans supported, and then you vote against a bill that has funding for the cops program, we can let other people evaluate what that means. It doesn't require them to speak to it or to shout it out. Their actions speak for themselves.
So there you guys see it, the absolute spinning of the narrative in real time. because Republicans voted against the American Rescue Plan that had trillions of other dollars being spent for different things, as you guys heard, pet projects, or just like Mitch McConnell said, it's a classic example of Democratic overreach. But yet, because those reasons aren't good enough for Jen Psaki, she just lumps it up and says, well, the reason why they voted against this is because they actually are the ones who want to defund the police. So I saw this on Twitter from Steve Scalise, and it was a great video he posted. If you're on Twitter, make sure you retweet this. But he says, Democrats defunded the police. Crime in those cities skyrocketed. Now Democrats are trying to blame Republicans, but everyone knows the truth. Democrats are the party of defund the police. Retweet to expose them. Guys, let's take a second to watch this production, because it is just the summary of the receipts that we have all witnessed through 2020 when the events happened around George Floyd and everybody lost their mind and said, you know what? The best solution to this problem is obvious, defund the police. No, Democrats said that. Conservatives didn't buy into that. Republicans didn't buy into that. But here are the receipts that Peter Doocy was asking for, because when he asked what Republicans have outright said they want to defund the police, she couldn't answer that because the answer is, well, there's no Republicans that want to defund the police. She just said, well, the evidence is they've denied the American Rescue Plan. Anyways, let's take a look at this.
Why use the word defund? Why use the word defund?
Yes, I support the defund movement.
This is the word that's coming from the street.
A growing cry to defund the police.
There's some issues that we ask police to do, like mental health issues or policing in schools and all the rest, that perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
We will not be increasing our police budget.
We propose to redirect over $7 million from the Police Bureau.
The use of stormtroopers under the guise of law and order.
We've got to re-examine what we're doing with American taxpayer dollars.
We need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
The Minneapolis City Council voting 9-3 in favor of disbanding the police department.
Today in New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced a plan to defund the NYPD.
I want people to understand that we are committed to shifting resources.
So cities across the country are seeing a major spike in violent crime now.
Violent crime is way up and claiming victims here in Los Angeles at a rate we haven't seen in decades.
Crime surging in Democrat-led cities that slashed police funding last year. Murders up 46%.
A scary scene earlier this week in New York City. So to shootout in the middle of the street during broad daylight.
The White House trying to shift blame because crime is out of control. The Biden administration is desperately trying to spin a new narrative. Now it's the Republicans who support defunding the police.
Democrats embraced this crazy radical idea of defunding the police last summer.
Wow. So there you guys have it. I mean, I don't know if there is one. If there is one person that actually believes that it is the Republicans who want to defund the police. Take a look at this. I think this stat, it's around right here. It's around one. Let me show you guys this. So murder spike in cities that defunded the police. Guys, the empirical evidence is in, and the story is shut. The book is done. The Democrats are the ones who are responsible for this. Minneapolis, all right, rose 46% since July 2020. Portland rose 271% since February of 2020. New York City, March 20th through March 21st, up 12%. Los Angeles, up 28%. Yet we have a real life example of a White House official attempting to spin the narrative in real time. We call BS. We see it. Whenever you guys hear this, you guys know the fact of the matter is this. Talk in relation to defunding the police. The Democratic Party are the ones who are responsible for absolutely destroying the morale of the police in America. In blue cities, in blue states, they have done more damage to the fabric of the police force. And the desire for police officers to serve in these communities, because at the end of the day, they're hated. They're hated by the top officials. They're hated by the criminals. They're hated by the people that they try to protect. And it's just not worth it, which is why we have seen many officers just outright say, I'm done. Many officers, like in Portland, say, we are not going to go in. We're not going to be part of the riot control team anymore. We're done with this. We're not going to serve this community in this capacity because we have no help. So I hope you guys can see that it is clear. The jury has come back and the verdict is in. The Democrats are the ones who have defunded the police, and they single-handedly are the ones who are responsible for crimes rising at a rapid rate all around big cities in America. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that right there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you already haven't, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified anytime I make a video. As always, guys, I will see you on the next one. God bless. Peace.